Hello everyone, it is May Larson here. We're here with a tutorial and this is a kit that I have designed for creating with details. Now in this kit you're going to be getting some beautiful boho chic trim. It's one of my favorite trims and you're going to have enough to cover up the edges of your stocking banner. Now this is one of the banners or stockings that I have designed and you're going to get 5 of these. And of course, you're going to be able to decorate them with beautiful laces as always. Now, when you get them, they have already been sewn up. Now, what you do need is you're going to need a crocodile, such as this, to punch out your holes. Now, I've already done that with these, and we still need it to do to these here. You will also be getting some beautiful laces to complete this beautiful project. You're going to get some of that. You're going to get some seam binding, some vintage images printed on fabric, and the only thing you're going to need is just your imagination and some hot glue. So let's get started. Move all this aside. And then when you're creating these, you can always think about different things that you want to add to your stocking banner that doesn't come in this kit, such as flowers or any memorable items that you might want to attach to your banner. So now we have our holes punched out, and we're going to take one and we're going to start to hot glue our boho chic trim. Now, if you notice, this has that side and then this side. This is the actual right side of the trim, not this one that's flat. It's that one. We're going to start at the top. And I like the way this trim comes together, just because it gives it a really nice boho feel to our little stocking here. So you're going to need plenty of glue for this, so I recommend, or you can also use fabric adhesive if you want. If you don't want to use the hot glue. I prefer the hot glue. To me, it's just a lot faster for me. Now, you can do it however you wish. So I use that seam that's right there where the stitches. That's exactly where I'm gluing my trim. And just keep going around till you get to the top. Now we're just covering one side of your stocking. So you're not going to be putting anything on the back side, because of course who's going to be seeing the back side of your little banner here. So we're just going to do the one side. It's a pretty quick and easy way. All right. And all right. My little handy dandy spatula and some scissors. Now we're just going to trim here. Now typically when I've done some of my kits in the past, you guys know I like to always do the front and the back. This time around I'm just going to do it here and stop right there. That helps keep also the cost of the kit down a bit, especially when you're dealing with laces. So now we have that. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to have this trim and this trim. Now you can do it however you wish. Now the way I'm looking at this is that I see 3 scallops, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to trim it at 3. That's all I really need to cover there. I'm going to set this aside. If you have one of your craft mats or one of those silicone mats, you can flatten these out, iron them up however you want. I'm going to take this one and bring it up close to that one and just put a little dot of glue there. Get your little spatula. Again, I'm going to do this one over here, just where the tip of the leaf hits the tip of that leaf and just a little bit of glue there. Okay, and then you can get your little fabric glue, and you can, or fabric glue, your fabric scissors, sorry, and just trim those off. I trim it right around where the leaf is, or the petal of the flower. Okay, just like so. Move that aside. And then you're going to make sure that you do not glue your hose, because we need that for our seam binding. Okay, so you're going to get in your kit some seam binding, and you're going to run it through, make a knot on one end, and you're going, this is what you're going to use to run it through. Okay, so you're going to run it through here. Let's use our little tweezers to push it in. Make sure you leave enough that if you want to make a bow, you can make a little small bow there. And then you're going to go ahead and do the other end. Now remember that you're going to have lots of this here, so I'm going to leave about, probably about, you're going to get about 6 yards of this. So I'm going to leave, I would say leave about 3. So use about 3 yards for the banner itself, and save 3 yards of it to make some bows within your stockings. So now again, I'm going to grab the other end and I'm going to make a knot. Now this is one of my stocking patterns, so if you have any questions about it, please feel free to ask me. And all right, there we go. There we go. So that is the beginning of that, and then you can start kind of figuring out where you want all these beautiful luscious laces to go. You're not going to be using all of it, like I said, basically about 3 scallops. And I want to do the same thing here. See that? So I'm going to cut 3 here. Maybe cut it right smack in the center. See that? You'll be able to do your scallops right. Okay, so I'm going to take this petal from the flower and just kind of bring it closer. And it's really good if you have one of your mats. That way we're not gluing, or not sewing. You guys know I'm all about the sewing part. But this time I wanted to make something quick, simple, and let's get it over and done with, right? So I'm just going to trim just a bit of that off. And you're welcome to do that on this side here if you want. Just cut around the flower. I'm not using the right scissors. It helps if you use the right scissors. You don't want to cut your all right. Yeah. And that's what I like about these Venice trims that Creating with Details have, because they are so fine and delicate. They're very elegant, and they definitely give your projects a beautiful look. Now we're going to bring that here, and I always like to place it before. Now I'll give you a couple options. You can do it with this piece down here, have that draping down, and this over there. I'll give you a couple options to look at. Or And then you'll get this in your kit as well. Now you're only going to need 2 petals, and I'm going to show you. You'll have enough for both kits. You want to make sure you have your 2 petals facing. You can have that facing that way or facing this way. I like it facing up, so I'm going to go ahead and this one here, let's put it right there. I'll use this for something else. We're going to use these 2 here. So you're going to have enough to cover that. So you should have it look like that. Okay, we cut it right. And that's going to go, and you're just going to glue right up on that seam, that 1/4 inch seam allowance up there. You're going to glue that because we want to make sure we do not glue our little holes. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and put this one down because I know that's going to go right on that seam and it's not going to bother anything. And I'll just glue it right there. Okay. Okay. So you'll have that. So then you can lift this up just carefully and somehow place these in so you're not covering up that hole, but you can see the dangling effect that gives it a really cute shabby chic look. Now I can put it that way, or I can drape this one down here and bring this one tucked underneath here. However you want to do it, it's entirely up to you. I kind of like this one down here and then this one just a tad bit there, like that. I like that look right there, and I think that's a cute little look. So you can choose however you want to do it. I'm going to trim this here just a bit. I'm really finicky about some of this stuff here. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this one down. Now make sure you have, there's a good side and a wrong side to your laces, and that's really important that you keep focus on that. Otherwise you're going to be tearing up your work, and the best way you can do that when you glue down laces is to use some Goo Gone, or Undo, I'm sorry, Undo. Alright, so again I'm making sure that my holes are still noticeable, because you're not going to actually decorate them on your seam binding. You're going to decorate them first and then you're going to apply it on your seam binding. I just wanted you to see this, how this whole concept goes. Okay, so I'm going to do it there, and then we're going to lift this one up and just carefully tuck it. Make sure you position those little scallop petals down so that it's almost like in between those there. See that? Right there. And you're going to do this entire thing for all of your entire banner stockings. You can glue it down a little bit more, or you can let it freely loose hang down like that. Like me, I would either flatten that out, but if you don't want to flatten it out, you can just carefully use your tip of your glue and bring it down just a bit. Okay, just like that. Okay, and so then with your images, you're going to be able to take your images and just put them on there however you want. Okay, so we're going to work on decorating the other ones, and then we'll come back and then we will put our images and finish up the stockings. Okay, so we're going to continue forward adding the boho chic trim around the edges. Again, I'm just using the seam from the stocking for guidance as to where I'm applying the Boho Chic GIMP. And just keep using that all the way around. That's a perfect guidance to be able to apply your braided GIMP. All right. So we're going to do this for all 5 of the stockings. And once you have these all done, then you can sit down and you can decide where you want to put your images that comes in this kit. Now keep in mind that if you want to add any other flowers or anything like that, or even a doily, that's entirely up to you. That option is just something that you can add as an added embellishment. So then you have that. I'm going to do that for all of them just to get that out of my way, and then I can just grab the other laces and keep going with that. So again, use this as my seam. And just be sure to stop by the Creating with Detail store. She's got tons of new laces that has been out, and she's going to be working on loading those up to the store. So be prepared for the yummy laces she is going to be loading up. Okay, get more glue. I need to refuel here. And there's some other little kits that she's going to be having coming out, so just be ready for those kits. As soon as they're out, either Karen, who's her social media coordinator, or Christy Love will let you guys know. But Karen Stencil has a video or channel, YouTube channel, Karen Stencil. You can check her out, and she does a lot of the promos for Creating with Detail, so make sure you stop on over there and check out her YouTube channel as well. And she tries to promote all the products as they're coming into the store. So, and I do know that a lot of people ask me quite often, what glue gun am I using? And I do know that she had them available in her Creating with Detail store. So again, it's one of those things. You guys got to go over there and check out all the neat things that they are bringing in. Well, this will be provided to you. The stocking is going to be in a canvas, and it'll be sewn together for you, so you don't have to do any sewing or any guessing. Shadi's pretty talented with a sewing machine. I can tell you that much. She takes sewing very serious. All right, set it there. Put that one over, and we're on our last one here, and then we're going to start decorating it up. It's a lot easier when you're using that seam as a guidance, trust me. All right. And she's got beautiful fabric flowers that you can as an add-on, because this is going to be like a little basic banner kit, but you can go into her store and add some beautiful flowers to shabby this up even more if you want. She's got some other trims that you can use to make this beautiful banner a lot more shabbier. You can add from your own personal stash. If you have any doilies, you can add doilies to make it more personalized. Remember, a kit has the basic things, the fundamental things that you need to put your kit together, and you're welcome to use whatever you have in your personal stash to make it a lot more personalized. Okay, so you still have some trim there. If you want, you can go up here. That's entirely up to you. Again, you're going to have another piece, but you can also use this for your images. So that's what I'm using mine for. Okay. So now, again, I'm going to go over this entire process with you guys. I typically take my scissors and I cut out all this little extra stuff here. I'm careful with my petal, and I just kind of just go around as if you were fussy cutting something in paper. We're going to do 3. 1, 2, 3. Cut it right straight in the middle there. And then you're going to cut all this little extra around that petal. Just being careful you don't cut your petal out. And yes, I'm using my Tim Holtz because I'm being lazy right now, ladies. Nothing wrong with being lazy. All right. So just kind of trim that out and make sure you clean out those edges. Let's wipe that up. Okay. Now, again, we're going to take this petal from this flower, put a little bit like a little glue dot right there. And let me make sure I got my spatula handy, and we're just going to fold it right up to the next petal of that flower. Again, and that's why you need this mat, this kind of a craft mat, something that will resist it. Okay. And I want to show you guys something. Okay, so this is the right side of the Venice trim, and this is the wrong side. You notice that this one's a little bit more not so shiny, but over here you have more of a lustrous shine, and over here it's really flat. This is where all the stitch work, you know, normally when you sew you have one side where the stitch is. Well, this is where the stitch work is, that you can see it. You turn it over here, this is where you get the shine in. Okay, so that's the right side. So we have that one. We'll set that one aside, and then you're going to do this whole thing, the same thing throughout the whole stocking. So then you're going to do the other one again, cut down, do 3, and you can trim all these up like that just around the petal. I'm not cutting this here. Notice there's 1, 2, 3 little petals. I'm going to cut this out here. Okay, that's just a little bit too much right there. And once you glue and gather it, it's going to look kind of wonky and funky. There you go. That's a word. Wonky and funky. So this kit's going to be up for sale in the Create No Details store. Soon it goes up. I will definitely let you guys know via our Facebook group so that you can go over there and purchase it. All right. So it looks a little funky on this side, but once I put those petals together, it'll make a little bit more sense here. Okay. And I'm going to cut this one here too. Okay. All right. So now I have those set aside. I'm going to put this here, and then this is going to go just like that. Making sure you leave enough room. Remember, you have to leave enough room for your seam binding to run through. Okay, so and then you'll get your other bridal trim. This is a beautiful bridal trim. Again, you got to make sure you have 2 leaves. Here's one, and here's the other. Cut in between. If you want, you can cut them out like that. There's 1, there's a 2, so that way you don't. There we go. That's 2. There's a 2 leaves there, and then So you're going to have a little bit that's left over. Okay, so then you can position this in. And again, this goes right on that top seam. Let me get more glue. And you can put that one first if you want, so that you don't, you know. I'm going to go ahead and flatten that out. Since I do have a craft mat underneath, I'm going to flatten that one out just a little bit. And you can lift it up. Remember, you're going to have an invisible little line here where your seam binding is going to go. We're going to put this one here. Okay. Make sure you have the right side. Make sure it's the shiny side. That's really important. That's where you're going to catch yourself. Okay. And that one will fall down like that. And you can, once this is down, your seam binding is in, you can glue that down a little bit flatter. Okay. That's not a big problem. All right. So then, that's just from the manufacturer. It comes like that. And you're going to do the same thing here. Tuck that in. Use your little, use your spatula. You don't have these little issues where they're sticking to your hands, right? And I'm going to bring that down just a tad bit. For it. There we go. There we go. Better. Okay, so we're going to do that with all of them. And again, this can go flat in once you get your seam binding. And you can come back in and we'll do that towards the end, putting that together. So we're going to do this entire process for all 5 of the stockings, and then we'll come back to decorate it. All right, so we have all the stockings completely covered up with our luscious laces. Now we're going to take our images that will come in your kit, and like I said, the other embellishing part of it you can do with it however you want to decorate it. This kit's going to come just with these little basics, and if you want to add flowers or any stems or anything like that, that is entirely up to you. If you want to take some beautiful doilies and put it in the back, you are more than welcome to do that. I would if I had lots of little doilies, I would put some little doilies in the back just to give you an idea. You can put a pretty little doily and put that there, and it would be really, really pretty shabby chic. But that is entirely up to you. The kit will not include any doilies because it's kind of hard to find doilies that are all alike. So you're going to get this trim instead, and this trim is totally my style of trim. So we're going to put that on the outside and just wrap it around. Just like so. Now the images will be printed on fabric, just so you know. Peel that one off. And you don't have to worry about printing these off. You're going to get them printed for you. We just ask that you do not photocopy these or duplicate the images. Okay. Okay. So that is there. And then you might have some little extras of these here that you want to like put it around there as a little cute embellishment. So you're going to have a little bit extra left over, and you can just have it like a little tag along. You might trim some of these edges off. And you can put these little extras to work. You will also have a little bit of this left over, and you can put that in there as a little tail if you wanted. You can take some buttons, but of course these put some little buttons around the side. And you can have these from your own stash button. So that's just to give you an idea of other little things you can do with your own personal stash if you wanted to add something in there. But the kit itself just comes with what you see right here. And I will go over that here in a second. And you'll get 5 little pretty Christmas Santa images. And go that down a little bit more. Tell you what I can do without the glue webs. I do not miss the glue webs, okay? All right, so get some of my hands clean up with the glue webs. And that is that right there. And then you're going to have some extra seam binding that I told you to set aside at least 3 yards of your seam binding. And you can, what I do is I cut like a yard, and I cut that yard into half before I scrunch it, because once you scrunch it, it comes like really really scrunched, and it's kind of hard to tell. Alright, so then you can do this, and we're just trying to make a really basic cute little kit that you can afford for this holiday. Alright, so that, and just keep in mind that when you do scrunch the seam binding, it becomes really tattered and distressed. That's the shabbiest of it. Some I've noticed it does it more than others. Like this one has it more than others. So I just do a little finger bow, snip my end, and I can put a pretty little bow. Although, you know, he is a Santa. Keep that in mind. You can put a little cute bow here or up here, wherever you want your bow to be. I think I'm going to go probably up here versus down here, but it's entirely up to you. Okay, so you will get a couple buttons to put in so that you can at least decorate a little bit that, and then you can put your, figure that is where your hoe is, so you don't want to cover that, you want to go up a little, maybe like right there. Okay, or you can go down here and put it down here. I'm just giving you options. Now they are all going to look pretty much the same. You're going to get these 5 little vintage Christmas images. Again, I just ask that you do not duplicate these images or photocopy them. They will be printed on fabric, so you're going to get these 5, and you will get your seam binding, and you will get a few little buttons, and you will get some of this beautiful jute trim to go around your and then whatever you have left over from this one, you can just decorate your stocking however you want. So that is that. So let me move on to see. I said I was going to figure out where I wanted this one. Do I want it here? I thought it looked cute here though versus up here. I don't know. Here. I think I like it down here. So I'm going to go with my first instincts, which was down here. Tuck that under, and I just fold it in half, tuck it under like a little butterfly, and then you're going to get a little button. We're going to put that smack in the center there. And you can puff out your little seam binding bow. And then there's that one. So let's go on to move on to the next. And I have removed the backing off of the other one. So, all right. This is the challenging part, removing the backing. All right, keep that here because this is really good to pick up some of this crazy web. Lift that up. That's why I said do not glue that down yet. Place it where you want it. And just kind of go right around the frame of that. Again, like I said, you can put a little doily, vintage doily if you have any. It'd be really cute, shabby chic, but that is not included in your kit, ladies. Just so you know. Just giving you ideas. All right. Just I don't know why I forget that I have a little tool here, my little fingers, that I need to use so that I'm not burning myself. Okay, snip top. And then that goes down. Well, that one was a little, if it's too low, you can go ahead and lift that up just carefully. I left that one too low. Let me get my undo. I wanted it lower than I anticipated. All right, that's no problem. See, that's why we have undo. Bloopers do happen because we are human, ladies. We are not a robot, and if we were, then you need to start running the other way, right? Okay, so we're just going to move just a bit, up a little bit more. Make sure we're not in Santa's face. At least you get to see him, so. Okay, so we're going to do that. And then if you want, you can go ahead and finish off your edging. And then you can go ahead and do a little bit of that there. Okay. And then trim some of this off since you have some of this extra stuff laying around. Why not use it? Okay. And you can tuck that in there. And we'll lift and tuck and glue. Push with my chin because, you know, as crafters, we need that octopus hands to be able to hold and glue. Kind of hard to do. All right. Again, if you want to flatten that out, you can just press it. You can put a little pretty flower there. Again, you're going to have some extra seam binding. I'm going to do a pretty little bow. And that's about it. We're going to do the same thing for all of them, so they're all uniformed. And again, you can do yours however you want. If you want to move your image up to the top and do something else at the bottom, this is just a little basic stocking kit. I like to fold my two little tails on my bow so that make it look like a little butterfly or something. There we go. So that's that one. So not hard to do once you have that rhythm going and you've selected If you're going to put any extra embellishments, again, you can check the Creative Detail store. She's got tons and tons of stuff in that store that you can add as an embellishment. And I might have to probably redo this one. Let's see. Oh, that one's fine right there. I glue it right there. Just check the Creative Detail store because she's got beautiful flowers. She's got bling that you can use to accent these banners and give it more of a lush look. And I might move that over just a tad bit because it, yeah, I'm going to move it so. That's why undo is our friend. All right, and when it dries, it'll dry clear. So we're just going to move it just a little bit slightly up. And that'll disappear. I'm not worried about that. I'm more worried that we get to see Santa. I don't want Santa to be lost. That defeats the purpose, right? Okay. Put that down. Smush it down with our little handy dandy tool. Grab our little jute trim. Let's glue this down. That was not glued down. Okay, let's close that so we're not spilling anything. So that is just how we're going to do this. Just keep doing the same little repetitive pattern. If you do have some extra seam binding, and you should, you can just tie a little bow. I'd start up here so that it's hidden. Turn this around. Okay. Alright, snip that off. Some glue webs, and these little peel backs are wonderful for lifting up those little monsters. Okay, so I get that cleaned up. Get another piece of your seam binding, cut it in half, and keep making your bows. Okay, so we will finish this up and we will be back as the whole thing is complete. Okay, so we have all of them already decorated. So the next thing you're going to do is, this is the first one you attached, and you're going to grab your seam binding and you're just going to start in the back. You might need some tweezers. Lift that flap up. That's why I said do not glue that down. Be very careful and feed that in. And I'm going to have to use a tweezer to help me push that in. Run it through. And then you can decide your spacing. If you want it right there, if you want your spacing there, you can tie a knot, or you can just leave it like that. You can tie a knot right there, or in here, sorry. Tie a knot so that it's not moving or shifting. And I determine the spacing just how I lift it up and see how is it going to hang. So that way it is not shifting down. I say right around there. I didn't even tie a knot on my other one, but you're welcome to do that if you want. So that way you can adjust them to however you want. And just go back through, pull it out, and if you want, you can also, another thing you can do is glue that down, so that way it's not moving. Once you decide, you can just glue your flap down, and that'll be just good right there. And move on to your next one, and just keep doing that till you have all of them done. And I'll go ahead and do the other one. Try to keep that flat as you can. Bring your next one in. Again, start from the back. And bring it in. Use your little tweezer to push it through. And run it flat across. Push it to the back with your tweezers. You'll know you're pulling the wrong way when you, there you go. And you can straighten that out. And you can glue that down if you want. Once you have it all lined how you want, you can do that. You can add little bows here, make it really pretty bows. If you want, that's just an added thing that you can do out of your own personal stash. This is just a basic little banner kit, and you can buy other little beautiful things from Create with Details store. Okay, grab my other one, and if you have any, some, you know, the seam binding might be a little bit longer. I said suggest that you put like 3 yards and then just play around with it. If you don't want it to be your ends, your tails to be that long, you can definitely cut it and use the rest to do little bows in your kit. Okay, so again, flatten that out. And then there's the fourth, and then now we're going to do the last one. So you'll have plenty that you don't really have to use all 3, but just in case you want it to hang more, that's why you have 3 yards. So just for the safe side, that you can adjust these really well. And once you adjust them, you can, there you go. So there's plenty of a seam binding, and if you lift it up, you'll be able to tell how you want it to dangle. See that? It's cute. And it'll be really, really cute just like that. So you'll have plenty. So again, you want to make sure you secure it so that they're not shifting. Once you know pretty much how you want your swag or your dangle, how you want them to do. Once you have that, go ahead and glue these down so that they're not shifting or moving along, and or make a little knot, whichever you want, whichever is easier for you. I have it just like that, and you know, glue it, do whatever works for you. Just make sure you flip these around like that so that they're all really evened out, and then voila. And then when you get ready to store them, all you do, you put one on top of the other just like that, and then you can store them away for the next holiday. And like I said, see, you'll have plenty of seam binding. If you don't want that much of a tail to hang, that's fine. You can also take what's left of here, and you can add a little tail like that. So I might do that, and I like that. But what I suggest is, before you add this little tail of what's left over, make sure you've glued down the separation between them. If that's where you want it, then go ahead and glue it down. Make sure that you have plenty of seam binding on each side to hang it up. Don't shortage yourself. So just make sure you get plenty on each side. And say for instance this is where I want it, I can just go ahead and glue that down just a tad bit. I should be using my little glue sticky thingy. Okay, so that way it's not shifting. See right there, I can't pull it anymore because I've glued it down, and it's not going to shift. Okay, so that way it's not moving and shifting on you. Make sure you flatten those out. Try to get a good even space. You might want to measure that, so I'm comfortable with that. So I'm going to go from that end to this end of where the boho is, and I have mine separated at 4 inches. So I'll lift up here, put a little dot of glue there, and then I will go in here where the opening is, and I'll make sure that it does not shift from there either. Okay. And move it carefully over, and glue this one down, glue these down. That way I can now finally glue that flat down. I'm really anal about that stuff. Glue that down. And then I will measure this one over as well. Make sure that's glued down. Now what I suggest that with these little remnants that you have left over, go ahead and you'll have enough to do your separations. Go ahead and trim just like so. Just around that little petal. And then you can add this as a cute, I would flatten that out for sure. Put that right smack in the middle of those two, and if you wanted to be precise, you can grab your ruler. That's about 2 inches. Put a little glue dot in the center and glue that down. You can grab a button and smack it in the middle right there. And there you go. There you have it. And then you can just iron that flat. Okay, so that is it. That is the kit for Creating with Details. Be sure to check out her online store for this kit. If you have any questions, you know where to find me. Until next time, ladies, thank you for joining me, and see you next time. Bye-bye.